Providing technical assistance is one of the International Monetary Fund's main functions. It complements the IMF's jobs of lending money to member governments and monitoring both the global and national economies. By providing technical assistance, the IMF helps countries by training officials in both the skills needed to run an economy and in developing appropriate economic policies. Often, the IMF will design and oversee the work program, as well as recruit experts to provide advice. This advice covers a wide range of subjects, including exchange rates, taxation, budget and debt management, central bank operations, data and statistics, and setting broad strategic economic objectives.
Talking to one governor of the central bank, he said, he used to get this supervision report that was 70 pages. And after he read the 70 pages, he could not find out exactly which bank was in trouble, what were the vulnerability of the banking system, and what are the issues that he needs to focus on immediately. And but now, thanks to really the work that we've done with many of the bank supervision, they moved from just being policemen of the banking system to really great partners in helping the banks deal with risk management.
Developing and instilling the skills necessary to effectively manage and carry out tasks is also known as capacity building. So the specialized technical assistance from the IMF helps build capacity in countries for effective policy making. By sharing knowledge, the experts help build capacity not only in terms of developing better guidelines and procedures, but also in terms of training government officials to more effectively carry out their work.
I think we give very targeted, highly specialized advice in certain circumstances in order to support policy making in the countries. But at the same time, in many of the other countries, you need to lay the institutional foundations to establish the capacity for policymakers to make decisions and to have the right underpinning, the data, the systems in order to come to good decisions. And capacity building really is focusing on setting up the institutions, providing the skill set, the training in countries in order to provide this underpinning for policymaking.
In recent years, the IMF has begun delivering technical assistance through regional technical assistance centers. Currently, there are 6 regional technical assistance centers in the Pacific, the Caribbean, Africa, and the Middle East. The centers provide a permanent presence to help countries strengthen human and institutional capacity so that they can design and implement policies that promote growth and reduce poverty.
Our technical assistance delivered from headquarters is well adapted to middle-income countries and more advanced countries that already have a fairly well-developed bureaucracy to implement the technical advice we provide to them. However, some of the small island states, as well as some of the low-income countries, usually have a weaker capacity on the ground. And in those situations, in those countries, we felt that we needed a field presence, particularly on the African continent. And we now have 3 centers in Africa.
The centers receive the bulk of their funding from donor countries, international agencies, and regional development banks. Strategic guidance for each center's work program is provided by a steering committee comprising representatives from beneficiary countries, donors, and the IMF. The Technical Assistance Centers in Africa, or AFRITACs as they are known, have been very successful, with a 3rd center opening recently in 2007. Yet, there are many challenges to successfully implementing these programs of technical assistance. What are some of these challenges?
Our main challenge is constantly to prioritize our requests, to work with our counterparts to see where we would get more traction for the resources that we put into our technical assistance delivery, to check on the implementation, and constantly to guide our counterparts in implementing.
The second issue is getting the right sort of expert or expertise to assist these countries. That's a challenge. Sourcing people, one of the things that I had to do was to identify regional experts or people who could qualify, to come in and assist, countries. it's not an easy task, and the challenge is still great. It's still there.
On the recipient side, you talk about building capacity, but the biggest challenge is retaining that capacity. So you find that the AFRITAC is actually continually being requested to build capacity because there's leakages. Most of the recipient governments find it very difficult to pay the optimum wage to those now highly qualified people and who are being competed for by other better paying institutions.
So there are indeed many challenges facing the IMF as it continues its technical assistance work. Over the years, the IMF has learned that technical assistance is most valued when those who offer it work closely with those who seek it, and that it is important to respond quickly when countries need help.
Capacity building is a patient exercise, time-consuming. Over the years, it makes a big difference. And we got this type of feedback. We get this type of feedback. And I think that, in my view, that's a sign of success. That people have seen that in their daily work, you could say routine work, it has made a difference.